in case you didn't see it, we're going to give it just a minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. But welcome. So excited to see you all. If you haven't opened your chat, go ahead. You can always share too. Prefer to wait. But if you want to get in there now and share information, we won't be able to talk as this is a webinar style. So you'll only hear the presenters, and I'll be presenting them in a minute. But if anybody wants to chime in and say anything, you can jump in there. Okay, so it's 12:01. Let's not be too far behind. I'll go ahead and for those of you who don't know me, I am Leslie Bailey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Indie Maven. Thank you so much for joining our first ever virtual conference. You'll probably hear me say this a lot, but I hope it's our last, not because it was awful, but because we want to be with each other in person. But it's really cool that we had this experience. So moving forward, we know how to do something on a large scale virtual element. So when we do get together, if you can't attend in person, we'll always have this option. So thanks for allowing us to have this experience and for being with us today. Today is the sort of light version of the conference because it's a work day and we want to be able to make sure that we have time to do all the things. But we did have our coffee and conversation this morning. And for other ticket holders, we had our stretch with Jessica Nicole. We'll have that again tomorrow morning. So there's still time to upgrade your ticket if you are at a free level, but that's great too, because there is plenty here, including this session today. So as they're done with their selfie, I will introduce you to the Black Girls Eating Podcast. So we have Candace Wiley and Tanorria Askew. So if you are not familiar with them, I hope you are, but if you are not, absolutely check out this new podcast that they are doing. As I was listening to their first episode and we were sitting planning the conference and we needed something to do with food. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm like, gosh, they love this. They love what they're doing. They love spending time together. They are passionate. And then I was like, passionate. They're passionate. Oh my gosh, they're so passionate. If I could think of two women who are passionate about everything they do in their lives, social justice, food, podcasting, social media, like you both do it all and you do it so well and you're such an inspiration. So thank you for joining us today. I will shut up and let you share your stories. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having us. We are delighted to be here this Friday afternoon. Thank you guys so much. So, like Leslie said, we are Black Girls Eating Podcast. I'm Candace.
And I'm Tanorria.
And we are definitely passionate about Black girl magic, about social justice, and unseasoned food, right?
Better be well seasoned because, as my sister in food, Candace, will tell you, bland food will not prosper.
It just won't.
And she is absolutely right about that on so many levels. So we are hanging out in the kitchen today because that is where our happiest place to be is.
Yeah.
And we just want to spend some time talking to you guys about what we are most passionate about in hopes that it will inspire you and your passions.
Absolutely.
So Candace.
So we're in the kitchen. And for me, growing up, that's where everything went down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I did my homework. That's where I learned how to cook. That's
tough
where
conversations.
Yep. I mean, whenever I was going to be put on punishment, because one thing about me, I will tell you, is I was a terrible student. I did not become a great student until I got to high school. So I spent a lot of time getting scolded at the kitchen table. So when we were thinking about this, what can we do? Oh, we're going to be at the kitchen table because that's where everything goes down, right?
It really is. It really is. it's kind of that universal space, and every household is a kitchen table, whether it's in a small corner, whether it's actually in the kitchen, whether it's in a separate dining area. It's where everyone comes together for all of the things.
All the things, yeah.
Even punishment.
Even punishment, yeah. So it's really fun to be here and just to share our warm. So when we were talking about our podcast, the first thing we talked about was how important the kitchen was to us and it being the center of the home. I know Tanorria loves to talk about her family roots and how she learned recipes. One of our first inclinations into food was probably the biscuit recipe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can remember the first time I made them. I totally mixed up some sugar and flour. It was a bad situation.
I don't think I've heard this story.
Yeah, it was a bad situation. I mean, it basically turned into like some goo.
Yeah.
I kind of made like the first kind of slime. So, I mean, think of me as like a slime originator.
Right. Setting trends. My girl, setting trends.
So,
well, I used Bisquick for my first biscuits.
really?
Yeah, because I was like, I can make a drop biscuit. I'm gonna make some Red Lobster cheddar bays, and that calls for biscuit or Bisquick. And then I realized that it was missing real butter,
Yeah.
and like real butter and the right flour changed my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one thing we have to share with you all, everybody's, watching their weight and doing all those things. But here's the thing. You got to have real butter.
Eat the damn biscuit
And eat the biscuit, like,
and the butter.
and the butter. I mean, we're a year into pandemic, right? So at this point, if you haven't baked at least one thing, what are you doing with your
Right,
life?
whether it's sourdough or it's biscuits, which you can find biscuit recipes on both of our websites.
Yeah.
But I have become ridiculous when it comes to butter too. I actually truly believe that good butter is self-care, and I mean like good quality butter.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking. Please don't buy margarine, guys.
Please, just
We're not
don't.
going to shame you on this Friday afternoon here, but we're going to just say, oh, bless your heart.
Bless your
If
heart.
you've got some margarine in your fridge. But good butter really, truly is self-care. And it has been like an exciting part of this pandemic is
Yeah.
finding good butter, because honestly, when the grocery store shelves were first super empty,
Mhm.
it was the expensive butter was all that you could get.
Yeah.
And so I have learned so many things about different kinds of good butter.
Yeah.
Because that was all I can get, and now it's all I buy.
And same thing for me. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, Costco had a sale on butter, and Tanorria called me,
Yes.
get here now. So if you heard tires screeching on the west side of Indy, that was me buying up all the butter at Costco.
She made it though. She got
Yeah,
better.
I mean, it's one of those things, but that is one of those first forays that you learn in the kitchen and like, okay, what are really good ingredients?
Yes.
What, if you start out with really good quality ingredients, you can elevate a grilled cheese if you start out with really good butter.
Yes.
Really good cheese,
Absolutely.
really good bread. For instance, like I am on a croissant kick, right?
I haven't had this yet, guys.
And you guys okay, so we know that our phones listen to everything, right? And so I talk about croissants all the time. It's literally like my number one emoji on my phone because I love croissants. Like the Starbucks croissant, if you try to go and get one, it's because I have bought them all. So just blame me. I'm the one that's getting all the croissants at Starbucks. So I found this croissant bread. It showed up in my Facebook timeline, and y'all,
Big Brother always watching.
Big Brother always watching. But listen, it's like the most amazing thing. So I've been making grilled cheeses with excellent butter, really good cheese, and croissant bread. I'll get you guys the link because you have to have it in your life. But again, quality ingredients can make amazing
World of
food.
difference.
It
And
makes
you know what trains me on the quality ingredients is I can remember, and I'm sure you will say the same thing about your grandmother. I can remember my grandmother being like, no, baby, we don't buy that at the store. We buy this kind. Or a family member coming in because they were the runner on Thanksgiving and they had to go to the grocery store multiple times on Thanksgiving Day, and they would come back with the wrong brand. Like, no, baby, we don't use that in this house. You got to go back to the store.
Oh yeah.
And really, truly knowing what you like in the kitchen and really, truly like having your expectations. And that has set me up to have very high expectations and know exactly what I want in life too.
Yeah.
It started with, my grandmother saying, no, I'm only going to use Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk.
Yes. Oh my
Or,
gosh.
no, we're only using Philadelphia cream cheese. And I feel like as a woman, even in that space, which is a lot of times, especially back then, that was the only space she had to claim as her own.
Absolutely.
But even in that space, she was like, nah, boo, this is mine. This is
Yeah.
what I want. Here are my expectations. You guys got to meet them. And now she has, thanks to my grandmother and my mom and women like Candace in my life, they have created a monster who always has expectations that are very high and will make it very clear what she wants, whether in the kitchen or the boardroom or the interwebs, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. And I think that goes back to creating the space that you know that you want, giving yourself agency over what you want. I mean, I think a lot of times we, especially as women and femmes and however we, it's so hard to honestly say, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is why I want it, and stand up for it and be honest about it. I think we get shamed, we get shunned, we get bullied into saying, we get gaslit all the time.
You know what? And as a Black woman, it's perfect for your shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but I can't tell you how many times that I personally, especially in the corporate space, have been called an angry Black woman for just speaking my mind.
Right.
Or for just stating my opinion, or how colleagues, other women, any woman of any color has said that they felt like they were silenced because they were talking too much.
Right.
But someone else borrowed what they said.
Absolutely.
And that was well received in the boardroom or at some kind of table. But when she said it, then, it was either emotional or too aggressive or too assertive. And we're like, wait a minute.
Right. I literally just said that.
The same thing.
And it's why you have started that whole, I save every email. I say, just because people, all the receipts, because people will take your precious ideas, your precious passionate things, and look at you like you are crazy. And it's mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Intellectual property is so incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't recognize that, number one, their intuition is really kind of feeding their intellectual property as well as their experience, but their experience is what contributes to their intuition. And so it is this complex, tangled web of genius that, one, we should be trying as hard as we can to monetize. So go get yours. Okay,
Right.
Number one, go get yours. And then number two, know its value and know the worth, whether you're charging for it or not. You don't necessarily have to give it away for free. And I don't necessarily always mean money, but you also, it's important not to diminish it either.
Right. I mean, that's literally one of the reasons why I got into the food business. So we're here at a conference about your passion.
Right.
So again, my passion started out in the kitchen as a child with my family, learning and growing. And my mom is an amazing cook. My dad is an amazing cook. My grandmother is both just amazing cooks and do amazing things in the kitchen. But what really honed my passion was being able to stand up for myself. I spent, 11 years in marketing for a major grocery retailer, and I learned how to play the game.
Yeah.
But I also learned how to fuel my passion by doing that. And just being honest and like, hey, I love food. How can I make this work for me? How can I make this mutually beneficial? Right. And I think a lot of times we look at that, it's like, well, I'm not that great, or I don't have this, I don't have XYZ behind my name, when really you don't need any of that. You need a goal, you need a plan, you need to work the plan.
Yeah.
Really
you need to put out something quality,
and you need to know that the gift that you have is specifically created for you.
Yes.
And there is a path created just for you. For instance, Tanorria and I don't necessarily do the same thing, but we do similar things, and our paths are totally different. But here we are working together. So,
women supporting women,
and being there for each other, and knowing that, you lighting her candle does never, ever, ever, ever diminish your candle. It's never going to dim you. It's never going to hurt you. If anything, I always say, if I am in the room, if I am the only person in the room, I am going to light another woman's candle in that room. I'm going to bring other friends in that room.
And honestly, sometimes it's more fun to gas you up than pay attention to myself anyway.
Yeah. Like,
it's actually fun. I find joy in celebrating my friends and gassing them up and helping them like hone in their own genius and brilliance. And that's exciting for me. Like, these are my friends. Like, that gives me some kudos because obviously I pick awesome friends.
Exactly.
I don't want, I'm not going to sit around and gas up someone that I don't think is awesome.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
That's one part about pursuing our passion, and you know, being aware, which means we have to be aware of what's going on in the world. Again, social justice is one of our passions. It's why we have the platform that we have. It's literally how we met through Indie Women in Food.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
never been something that we've been able to not
talk about.
It's always been a part of any conversation where we have both been in the room.
Yeah.
And separately.
Separately. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that
just can't separate it.
You cannot separate it because, again, I wake up every day as a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, dealing with microaggressions, just dealing with, being made to feel like I'm not enough.
That you're not valuable. That your contributions are less significant than the other contributions in the room. Right. Or that you're just not whole and human.
Right. And it's really hard when you have to wake up every day knowing that and having to put on this armor, knowing that, okay, I have to go out to the world. I have to present this gift, or I have to present this life to the world. And I know that there are people who do not see me as valuable. Right. That's hard. And especially in a male dominated industry like the food industry, and specifically white male dominated industry. I can tell you that I have had men look at me, and I've been at the table and they're like, oh, well, what's this server doing here? Why are you here? And I'm like, actually, no, I wrote this piece. Or, my spices are in this restaurant for a reason. So it's just, it's interesting to have to always navigate that. Like when I think about the George Floyd verdict and how everything that day felt so heavy.
So heavy.
I mean, I did not watch the trial purposely.
Neither did I.
Purposely, because I have decided
that was resistance.
That was resistance. And I've decided that I'm no longer going to continue to watch Black trauma play out. I can't put that back into my psyche.
Black trauma should not be a form of entertainment. Right. And that's essentially what it's become.
That's what it's become. Yeah. And it's just, I'm not going to keep wearing that trauma over and over again because it's harming myself. And so when, the police officer's verdict was released, I ran upstairs and I started screaming because I did not believe this was real.
Yeah. It didn't feel real. I'm glad you said that. I was standing next to Bay. We were both watching it. And as soon as it happened and they announced it, I literally went to social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, because I felt like I needed that to make it real.
Make it real. Yeah.
And I think we both spent 3 minutes on our phone afterwards before we embraced and acknowledged this collective sigh as someone who's a part of the Black community before we could be relieved. We had to validate it. We had to make sure it was real, even though we were watching it on CNN.
On CNN, yeah.
It was still okay, I need to hear from someone else. We were texting each other.
Yeah. And
I was texting another friend.
Oh my, do you believe this?
Yeah.
It felt surreal, and it felt, but it still didn't, and it still doesn't feel like enough. People said, oh, well, this is justice. That's that's nowhere near justice. And it's not even fully accountability.
No,
because
not yet, because he hasn't been
sentenced. And that's what I was telling someone else. I said, hey, this is great. I said, and don't get me wrong, I am not diminishing this huge moment in history, because it's a moment in history. I think I read something that only 9 police officers have been charged.
And there's been 16,000 deaths.
Which
9 out of 16,000, friends.
Which is absolutely unreal. So it just, it's something that if you are under a rock, I can see how you don't pay attention.
Sure.
But every single day, speaking out, being honest. Like I was telling someone, well, what can I do? Which is one thing I have to just pause here and say, hey, y'all know what y'all can do at this point.
Google.
Y'all know what y'all can do.
Google's great.
And take the time to not make another Black person responsible for what you need to learn. Yeah. And that's just not a Black person, but a person of color in general, or a woman.
Yeah.
You know, you see when you go to the store and you may walk past someone who you deem as undesirable, you may clutch your purse. It's little microaggressions like that every day that add up
Mhm.
and that people don't
Mhm.
realize that people of color wear every single
Every
day.
day.
Every single
From the
day.
moment we wake up and check our emails or look at our phones, get out of our quiet time, whatever our quiet time, even in my quiet time,
Right. You're thinking about.
I'm having to write down affirmations about being whole and human.
Right.
Not affirmations. I mean, yes, I also write affirmations, validating my genius and validating my hopes and dreams and the path that I'm on. But I also have to write down affirmations just to validate that I'm whole and human and that my feelings are valid.
Right.
Because oftentimes we are being gaslit to be told that our feelings aren't valid or real.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So take the time to educate yourself, not at the expense of another person of color. There are tons of resources. I mean, Tanorria herself, again, just because Tanorria is an expert on diversity, that's what she did for 15 years.
Right.
So, but sometimes take the time to just research it yourself without coming to her thinking that she's just going to give you that labor.
I'm in a position now where I get to pick my battles.
Yeah.
I did not share anything specific during the entire trial because I chose not to watch it. And then after the trial, I only shared one thing instead of here are all these facts and resources, like they're out there.
Right.
They're at your fingertips. And I'm also pouring all of my diversity knowledge into someone who's compensating me for it.
Yeah.
And so the audience who is not spending time compensating me and literally sucking me dry, I'm picking and choosing.
Yeah.
I had an email subscriber. I sent an email out similar to my Facebook post about the verdict. And I had an email subscriber come back and want to debate about not saying all police are bad. And I'm like, first of all, where did you hear me say that? But secondly, every part of me had the urge to aggressively educate her. Let's put it that way. We were going to aggressively educate her. And I just said, you know what? I don't have the time or energy. I chose my battle. Like, I truly believe that there's a third. I say this all the time. I will say it with every D&I client that I have. There's a third of people who are fully on board. And that could be people of color. That could be people who just want to be allies and advocates that really truly get what being an ally and advocate is, because that takes work. And then there's a third of people who are curious, on the fence, don't know, don't understand, haven't done the work. They're in the process of unlearning, which we are all in the process of unlearning, but maybe their journey is brand new. Then there's a third of people who are just not on board. And I am not giving my energy to those people. I am not giving my time to those people. If something I say plants a seed, great. But that is not even what I'm called to do. I am called to spend my time and energy on what I'm most passionate on. And that is evoking change. And that is fighting for justice. And that third of people are going to hold me back and drag me down. So why am I putting my energy into that? And that not only goes in the realm of social justice, but even with my business. I'm not for everyone. When someone, comes and asks me to do a dinner party that's vegan, I'm sorry, I'm not the one.
And the thing is, and that's okay. I think I had to really, really learn and really understand that it is absolutely okay to not be everything to everybody. And to not allow that to hurt my feelings and to not feel like that I'm still not amazing, that my product is still not amazing, that what I have to offer is still not great, right? I think a lot of times we see this on social media and we see, well, XYZ, they're doing this. Well, they're doing that. Well, I need to be doing that.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. I literally tell people, I'm like, I rock the hell out of my lane.
Yes.
Because I have been in this lane. I've been in the trenches in this lane, and I've built my literal lane. The lane that Candace has, Tanorria cannot drive it. I cannot drive in Tanorria's lane, nor do I want to. And I think owning that, knowing that, and being okay to say, well, I turn down things all the time. And I used to feel really bad because I'm like, well, man, I'm just not going to make my invoice go for the month. And I said, no, no, I'm okay with that because I can tell within the first 5 minutes of reading that email how that exchange is going to go.
Yep.
If they're going to drain me from X, I'm like, no, I don't need that, because I can take energy away from something that I really, really want to do, which is why I really only accept the projects that I really, really love.
The ones you're passionate about.
The ones that I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay. And I think being honest about that is one thing that people have to think about. It's okay to say, you know, like with Indie Maven, Leslie didn't say, hey, I'm catering to men. I am catering to a unique, diverse group of women that have something that I know we're going to be able to offer to them. And there is nothing else like Indie Maven in the city.
Right.
There's Indie Monthly, there's other magazines, but there is nothing like the creative culture that we've created at Indie Maven.
And that's specific to women's voices.
Women's voices, and honoring that and knowing that they're going to be an advocate for that. So it's really important to think about things like that, and to know that it's okay to carve out your lane and to say, this is how I'm driving.
You know, I feel like, especially when we're talking about social justice, there are certain things that I have to do to fuel my passions that I consider self-care. I also consider resistance.
Oh, absolutely.
I often try to seek joy in different things. So what are some of the ways that you seek joy and self-care and resistance, that you know those things in particular help you keep going down your path?
Yeah. So for me, I often take time out to just sit and just be in my feelings, be in my head, and to honor how I'm feeling. I mean, that's one thing. As I've gotten older, I have come to the point where it's like, this is how I feel about the thing, and it's okay to feel about the thing. So if I have to sit in the anger, you know, if I have to sit in the sadness, if I have to sit in the grief, and it's not just the death of someone, it can be the death of a relationship, it can be the death of a TV show, it can be the death of a favorite sandwich, of a favorite restaurant. Grief is grief, no matter how. I mean, really, I mean, seriously, like, we have to be honest about that. So I do that. Therapy is one of the things that
game changer.
Therapy has been a game changer. I mean, my therapist gets me all the way together. Gets me all the way together.
Can I recommend? I have had 2 different therapists for 2 different seasons in my life. And my first therapist that I had was not a woman of color. She was great. I loved her. She actually broke up with me because she was like, you're fine. Go away. But that was that season. And then my new therapist is a woman of color. I am going to encourage any woman of color watching this, seek a therapist that looks like you. Yeah. That is not to discredit the therapists that are white women, because they are brilliant and they are great at what they do, but it is game changing. It is next level.
And I didn't realize that until I went from this level to the next level. I'm like, wow, like this is huge. Like, I mean, it's just amazing how seeing yourself and having that affirmation and knowing, I mean, it's just like playing with a doll that looks like you.
Yeah, which is all the layers get peeled.
All the layers get peeled. Yeah. So that buying my candles, I'm a candle fanatic. I love us.
There's 4 candles going on in her house right now that I'm aware of.
I'm a candle woman. I can't help it. I love things that smell good. Reading. I will hole up with a book on the couch in a heartbeat.
Most recent book that you've read that you love?
So I am finishing Notes from a Black Chef. I started it last year.
Such a good book.
I started it last year at the beginning of pandemic, and I put it down because I just felt overwhelmed. And it's just amazing. And then I am reading Letters to Black Women by a local author. Oh my gosh. Just that level of just beauty.
Yeah.
And there are people that I know that wrote letters in the book, and it's just amazing. Yeah. What about you? What sparks your joy?
What sparks joy? It's not a closet like Marie Kondo.
Oh my gosh, that would stress me out.
Stress me out. What sparks joy for me? Definitely therapy has been so huge. I've been working with a life coach and a business coach, and it is the mindset shift that has happened just in the last 12 months. It has driven me in ways personally that literally a year ago, I would have told you that's never going to happen. It's
Yep.
impossible.
Uh-huh.
It has driven my business in
Yeah.
directions that I've never expected. I am literally working the job of my dreams.
Yeah.
It's my business, it's my job, but I am in a position where I am literally watching my dreams come true.
I love that.
And I know that it's because of that team.
Mhm.
You know, people always think about a team and they think about a glam squad or they think about a personal assistant. No, I have a team for my heart.
Right.
And that is my therapist and my life coach and my business coach and my boyfriend and my best friends.
Yeah.
Though that's my team. Whether
Yeah.
they want to be on it or not, that's my team.
Yeah.
I would say also naps. Naps.
Yes.
There is resistance in rest. There is no shame in naps. For a while there, I was taking naps all the time and I felt awful about it.
Yes.
And then I realized that at the time I had something going on medically that was the reason for taking naps, and realizing that liberated me,
Yeah.
got that situation fixed, and I still take naps.
Yeah.
Okay. Right after the verdict for the Derek Chauvin case,
Yeah.
I went and laid down because I have recognized the physical trauma that happens in my body, especially with injustice. The work that I do in diversity, equity, and inclusion, anytime I have a consultation with a client, I take the next day off.
Yeah.
I don't work at all. I lay in bed, I Netflix and chill with myself because my body, I wake up and feel like I have a sinus cold and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so recognizing how my body responds to trauma has been really good for me to implement things that bring joy and really good ingredients. Like I went to Costco and bought like a ridiculous amount of really good butter, and I bought like really fancy cheese for no reason at all. It was just because I could and because I wanted to, and it felt great.
We actually had a question about that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We actually had a question about that.
Oh, okay.
They would like to know what Lativia says. What's the best kind of butter?
Oh, okay. So I'll take this one. So
because you keep talking about this, and I feel like I know what I saw it, but
so there's Plugra. So Land O'Lakes makes a European style.
They do make it good European style.
But Tanorria, tell them the holy grail of butter.
It's in a pretty gold wrapper, and it deserves to be in a gold wrapper because it's called Kerrygold.
It's amazing, you guys.
It is the best butter, but I think I found one that has it beat.
Which one?
There is one that might be better than Kerrygold.
Tell me.
It's called Lewis. You can only get it at Whole Foods.
Oh my God.
It is like, okay, so you know it's good butter when you open the wrapper and you can see without touching it that the butter's creamy. Number one, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, but you could see that it's creamy. And number two, it's bright yellow.
Right.
Not like a pale yellow like the typical butter you buy in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Lewis butter is like mustard yellow, girl.
Oh,
it's
like good and fatty. So,
yes.
So the thing that makes butter amazing is that fatness, and that's why you add it to a biscuit, because you want those pockets of fat.
Nice
when you're
puff.
baking something, good quality ingredients show through.
That's why you love croissants.
That's why I love croissants.
It's got layers
because it's got layers and layers of butter.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Kerrygold. That's what's in my freezer. That's what's in my fridge. I have that on the counter. It's what I buy.
I recommend Kerrygold to everyone because it's easily accessible.
Yeah.
The Lewis, I've only had it once. I'm still trying it out, but it's more golden than Kerrygold, believe it or not. So yeah.
Thank you for answering that. I wanted to make sure we did not miss that.
And they are not paying us by any means.
No. That is Kerrygold, if y'all watching, if you want to pay us.
Absolutely.
Whole nother
They
story.
are.
Yeah.
We'll do like 10 more minutes. Then there are a couple other questions, but I want you to finish.
Sure.
I want to forget to ask about that butter because I knew there'd be some angry people if we did not touch on it.
I do want to recommend a book. I know you were talking about books that you've read, and I absolutely love Kwame.
Yeah.
He's the guy who wrote Notes from a Black Chef. He's currently a judge on the new season of Top Chef. He's just amazing. But I just got done reading Professional Troublemaker.
By Lovey?
Yes.
Lovey's like my best friend in my head.
Lovey and Jai Jones. She really is my best friend in my head. And I've told her this on Instagram, and she responded with a ha-ha, which means she thinks I'm crazy. But love her. And her book, Professional Troublemaker, The Fear Fighter Manual. Okay, this is her second New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
Her first one, I'm Judging You, is excellent, amazing. It is a great precursor to Professional Troublemaker, but Professional Troublemaker literally is the book for everyone. And it is the book for everyone because everyone has faced fear.
Right.
And she literally shakes the fear out of you in this book. Whether it's fear about asking for that promotion, fear about starting that job or that business, fear about having a tough conversation with someone, fear about just being honest with who you are and recognizing what you really want. She covers all of it. And the thing that I love the most about it is she says that she wrote this book for who she is now. So it's like a life guide even for herself.
Right.
It's not just this person that's on this pedestal writing this book for everyone beneath her. These are like fundamental life applications with humor and wisdom and celebration of Black culture, all blended in for everybody.
Oh, good. I love
It's so good.
Yeah.
Do the audiobook if you can, because there's some dialect from her Nigerian background that is included in that book, as well as she's just funny as hell.
She's very
And
funny.
so hearing her read it and hearing all the inflections and the jokes, it's game changing. I literally have purchased 7 copies.
Really?
Yeah, kind of on accident. But then I'm like, you get a book and you get a book and you get it, because it is so good.
Oh, good.
Everyone should read Professional Troublemaker by Lovey Ajayi Jones.
Good.
Everybody.
I love that. I love that.
I put the link in the profile to the
Awesome. Thank you.
Good
Thank you
deal.
so much.
Yeah. Do you want to do other questions now?
Sure.
I know. Okay. Because I feel like we're going to get a lot and they always take longer than we think they're going to.
Okay.
There was a follow-up on the butter that was, what's your favorite comfort food? Your go-to comfort food for each of you?
Biscuits, without a doubt. Biscuits and pancakes, 100%. And they must be made with Kerrygold butter and white lily flour. I am from Tennessee. White lily flour is from Tennessee. It is the flowers of all flowers. You can find it on Kroger at the bottom of the shelf here in Indiana. Get white lily, get Kerrygold, follow the recipe on my website, make biscuits, get on your comfy clothes, get some apple butter or some honey, and just...
For me, it's probably, it would be biscuits too, but my number one go-to comfort food, you already know, it's chicken wings. Like I love
Flats
them.
fried hard.
Flats fried hard. Yeah, it's a thing. My dad makes the best fried chicken ever, and so that's my thing. Like he made me some a couple weeks ago, and I was with my partner, and they had never seen me eat chicken wings like this. They're like, I don't even know you. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute though. You keep talking about all these times your dad done made you chicken wings, and I ain't had none yet, y'all.
I know. But hey, that's because I'm his favorite child.
Oh.
I mean, I have a sister and everything, but who cares about her? I'm the favorite.
The next time we record an episode of Black Girls Eating, make sure you guys subscribe and follow on Spotify and Apple. I want chicken wings.
Okay, I'll make it happen. I'll call him. He'll do it.
First off, I am so hungry now. I didn't get to get my lunch, and I'm
We have that effect on people.
Oh my gosh, give me all the chicken wings. Faith asked, "What are you looking forward to?"
Oh, what am I looking forward to?
I am looking forward to having my family in my home all together at the same time, hosting something amazing. We haven't had, a family gathering. So I am so looking forward to cooking all the pounds of macaroni and cheese and all of the ham and all that. And just kind of, I won't say returning to normal, because there is no going back.
Yeah.
And just being able to just see and hug my people.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done things together, but we also, take our COVID test, and we've gotten vaccinated. So
we check in before we
see each other. Yeah. So just being able to do that and to grow my business in ways that I never thought before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I have a couple of projects in the pipeline that I can't talk about yet, but they are the coolest things that I've ever done. And I cannot wait to share them with all of you.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to the day that I can be like, hey y'all, here's all the reasons why I kept telling you no all the time, and I've been really busy.
Right.
I am not looking forward to my 40th birthday in July, but I am looking forward to my 40th birthday celebration in New Orleans.
Okay.
We're going to Bay and I are going to New Orleans in September because it's too hot in July, and I don't like
We're
to
going in
sweat.
September too.
Are you?
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to going in September and literally eating all of the things.
All the beignets.
All of the things. I'm just gonna walk around. I actually told Bay yesterday, I was like, we're gonna eat like every hour when we're there.
Yeah, that's my
So,
favorite thing about life.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I always look forward to spending time with my niece. She is 15 months. I get to see her this evening. She is the light of my life. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to just she's starting to talk now, and we're trying to get her to say TT, and she said it last week, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look forward to watching her grow.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking one more thing. I'm looking forward to my daughter's teeth not coming back in because she's lost 3 in the last month, and so she has this list, and I just look at her to talk to me. Mommy, how are you? And it's just
I love it.
I just melt. So I'm looking forward to that, to having a little snag-a-tooth, little 7-year-old.
A child with a list. My 3-year-old has one, and I'm just like, never grow out of it. I don't care if you get just never lose it. It is
It's the cute,
so sweet.
it's the cutest thing.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, can you read that to me, please? Oh,
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Can you say that
And
again?
you know what? Okay, this is getting a little off track, but I can say that as a Black mother, I'm so glad you encouraged that because I came from Tennessee to good old Kokomo, Indiana. And we're not going to talk about Kokomo a whole lot. Let's just say that my mom told my dad, get me out of Kokomo or I'm leaving you. And that's how we ended up in Indianapolis.
Okay.
But I had a lisp as
Did
a little girl. And coming from the South to here and being a young child, a little black girl, mine was a problem. And instead of, thinking it was cute, like for Maddie or for your 3-year-old, it was a problem. And I had to go through speech classes. At first, I think maybe in the 1st grade, my mom was like, no, she's not doing that. And then they kept pushing again in a school here in Indianapolis. And I went in the 3rd grade. And that has led to all of the microaggressions that point towards me talking so white and proper. So I'm like, really? Y'all just set me up for failure. I could have been real cute with my list. Anyway, moving
Haters.
That is, yeah.
on. Stories, right?
Yeah. I know we could go on all day, but something you said interesting. Obviously, we're very intrigued to find out what your special projects are. So we will stay tuned for those.
Please do.
But the fact that you said this is the coolest thing you've ever done, and for those who don't know, you were on MasterChef. So Lorianne asked, what was it like being on there? Which now that we know there's something even bigger coming, I can't wait to hear what it is. But can you just tell us a little bit about that experience?
MasterChef was like adult day camp prison. It was great. It was a life-changing experience for me. I would go back and do it all over again if I could. And there are a lot of castmates that I would ask that and they would say absolutely not. It really did validate that I am a good cook. It put me in front of world-renowned palates like Wolfgang Puck and Danielle Boulud and Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is awesome. He smells amazing. He hugged me 3 times. And so it was an absolutely amazing experience. But I spent 2.5 months away from my family, basically sequestered with no cell phone, no technology. I talked to my mom once a week on a monitored burner phone call. The only time I got to go anywhere was when we all went somewhere in these 15 passenger vans. I couldn't like Uber. I couldn't even like DoorDash food. And so there was definitely some interesting things about it. But it really did put me in a position to let go of some control. Because the only thing I knew every day was what to wear and what time to get up. And that's because someone told me. But at the same time, I was getting my hair done and makeup done by Emmy award-winning hairstylist every day. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And the stylist that purchased most of my clothes, like we brought our own clothes, but then because you were there for so long, they bought clothes for you. And I got to bring some of them home. And the stylist that styled me the most, we still stay in touch. And she actually was one of the stylists on Black Panther.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's really cool to stay connected to the cast. They're okay. I mean, I have some friends in the cast, but the crew, those people are super great. And I got to learn from people on the culinary team who had spent years studying under Gordon Ramsay, and all of that was really, really cool.
Nice.
But I was sequestered with no technology. The only friend I had was myself, because you're in competition with everyone else.
Right.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing some of those like insider things, because those are just things that I think we know, oh, reality show, you can't talk to people, but like the actual, like you were saying, I mean, that's a mindset shift, right?
Oh,
To, like,
absolutely.
as if, I mean, I'm not saying you're someone with control issues. I might be, but that would be hard for me, right? Say
I
like
mean, that did make or break some people. There were some people that you can tell that one of the reasons why they got eliminated when they did is because they were starting to crack under pressure. Yeah.
so
absolutely.
fascinating. The mindset there is crazy, but thank you for sharing that. There were some things I had
Take
heard there
whatever I
before.
want. I'm out of contract now.
Yeah. Yeah. Elise asked, what are your top track albums, artists to listen to while cooking?
I love this question.
Oh, me too.
And
My
I think
top
you
three.
guys, yeah.
Always Beyonce, because she makes me want to dance, and dancing in the kitchen just makes me happy. So Beyonce, Tobe Inigwe, and the soundtrack of Hamilton. Those are usually always on rotation for me.
Yeah. For me, I'm such an old soul.
Mhm.
So usually Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers go hand in hand. Absolutely Beyonce, but a little known fact is I absolutely love Black gospel quartet music. So when I'm in the kitchen, like old Southern, like Jackson Southern airs, and like that is me. Like I am in my
reminds you
zone.
of your childhood.
Yes,
It's like warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had some gospel music pop up just randomly, and I was like, oh.
And it's because I totally
lovely.
miss church. And so I have zoomed so much church over the last year or so. But yeah, that's what it is for me. Oh yeah.
Love that. I actually have one of my own questions for you. Something that you both touched on that I think two questions actually. One, we hear a lot about, especially I think for women right now, we're being told like learn to say no, right? But that's like easier said than done.
Yeah.
So when you, for example, Candace said like, well, I might not make my invoices. How do you have the faith to still say no when you don't know what's going to happen because of that, right? Like, well, I might say no, I might not make my invoices, but I'm going to say it. So what have you used to try and give yourself confidence or whatever that is to be able to say no?
Okay. The one thing for me is I am extremely deep into my faith. And I know that the path that is set before me has already been carved out. And I am here. I am literally like my whole life story is a testament to the power of God's goodness and God's grace. Really quickly, I was 1 pound 8 ounces at birth. And this was in the 80s when everybody thought, babies born that way, crack babies or whatever, had mothers with drug issues. No, that was not the case. My mom gained 60 pounds with me during her pregnancy. I was just a small kid. So I know that God's hand is on me. So the power to me to say no is if whatever project, whatever it may be, if it does not resonate with me, if I cannot 100% say this is a yes, this is a yes, this is a yes about the project, then I know it's not for me. I have to know that not all money is good money.
Right.
Not all projects are good projects. If they're going to stress me, if they're going to cause me to question myself, to question my belief, to take away from my actual passion, then I know that it's not good for me. And if that means that I have to put a post up like, hey, I've got to hit a goal for this many spices this month, then I will, because I know that asking means that I know that I'm going to make this goal. You see what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
yep.
I know if I say I'm going to sell 50 spice orders to new customers this month, I'm going to set that goal. And so however that means I have to do that legally, I am going to do that. So
Yep.
if that means I have to bug y'all on Facebook, bug y'all on Instagram, make some phone calls, say, hey, I haven't gotten my order this month, I'll do that because I know that I have to set that goal for myself.
Right.
But saying no is power.
Absolutely.
Because I can,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially as a woman in business, people come to you and they think, well, they're going to say yes because they need me.
They need, yeah.
And the thing is, I don't need you. I want to work with you if our passions align, but I don't have to. So, and knowing that I'm going to be okay with that. So maybe that means next month I can't go to Starbucks 5 times this week.
Why not?
Maybe I have to adjust financially, but knowing that the life set before me is going to be okay, and knowing that I can work to meet the goal that I need. If I tell you no, okay. And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I made that decision.
Yep.
Right. So.
Yep. I have a pretty good list that I could probably rattle off almost instantly of the number of things I said yes to and regretted saying yes to it.
Yes.
Not because of the money, but because it was exhausting. It was draining.
Yes.
It was frustrating.
Yes.
I could feel in my bones that this client was not going to be a good fit for me. And I went along with it anyway.
Yep.
So noticing that pattern has helped me be able to say no easier. And then also having the right mindset that things are going to happen. For example, most recently, I was looking to hire a service for my business, and they came back with a proposal. Now, I went into this blindly not knowing, because I'd never hired this service before. I didn't know what to expect, but they came back and said $15,000. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do to make $15,000? A year ago, just a year ago, I would have said, that's not for me. I don't deserve it. I'm not there yet. I can see why so-and-so is able to do this, but my business isn't big enough. I just have this little baby business. It's not the right time.
Right.
Instead, I was like, how are we going to make $15,000? Or how am I going to break it down so that it's more palatable over the time frame that I'm using this service? Is there room for me to negotiate? Is there room for me to go back and say, I love this part of what you're offering. I don't need this part. Is there room to, cut cost? So it's a total mindset shift for me in being able to say yes and no to things. Yeah. Instead of me saying yes to every person who wants me to be a brand ambassador and only pay me $15 for selling their product, and me thinking, yes, I could do that. That's extra money. No, that's a waste of my time, because I'm going to have to put in a ton of work simply for maybe $15.
Right.
Or I'm going to go over here and get these virtual cooking demos with these Fortune 500 companies. And I know that dinner parties are picking back up. So I'm going to promote the hell out of those right now, because people want to entertain again, and people want to have people back in their homes. And that's where I'm going to make that money. And then on top of that, my coach helped me realize, okay, what happens if there comes a month where you can't pay for that service? What would you do? And I was like, oh, well, I have this resource. I have this resource. I have this resource. All those cushions, all those things I don't want to touch, but they're there if I can.
Right.
But if I keep the mindset of how am I going to make $15,000, then I probably won't have to touch those resources.
Right.
So it really is a matter of a different mindset. Now, if you want to pay me $15,000 for something, holla at your girl.
Carrie Gold, hello.
Right.
Anybody listening? Thank you. That was such a great conversation. You touched on so many different things, and it was all so valuable. And I absolutely loved hearing more of your stories. Thank you for being a part of this. We love everything you do, and we have notes for all of the attendees. We'll be sending links, and we'll try and touch on sharing as much as we can pull out from the conversation if anybody missed anything. But also You can follow them both on social media. We'll make sure we send out those links, and you are both fabulous. So as we wrap up, Illinois Street Food Emporium sponsored this session with giving a live gift card giveaway. So we have two $50 gift cards to give away. So Gabby is going to put some numbers into a magic machine, and she already did it because she's great like that. So there's two, right? Yeah, there's two. The first winner is Renee Harness.
Yay.
So congratulations.
Yay.
We will touch base with you since we have all of your info and get you those gift cards. And then the second one, I feel like I need a drum roll. Thank you. Thank you. No, it can't be her. Because she's on our team. I love you, but you can't win if you're on our team. Sorry. I'll take you to lunch.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. Heather Elrod is the other winner. So congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, you guys should go to lunch together.
They have the amazing croissants.
They do. I get the chicken salad sandwich on a croissant, mostly because I want the croissant. Honestly, I should probably start getting croissants.
Just get the croissant.
That's what I'm there for.
That literally, I'll walk in, you know why I'm here.
Yes, I love that. Well, yes. Thank you again. Let's all, when the world is open, eat croissants and biscuits and all of the food together. I can't wait to see you in person again soon, someday. Again, thank you so much for doing this. You're both such an inspiration, and we loved having you.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Again, connect with us on social at Black Girls Eating, Tanorria's Table, at Food Love Talk. We are interactive. We literally, once the world opens back up, we'll start having our events again and do stuff together again. So please connect with us and stay, in touch.
And if you liked all these gems, they're only the same and even better on the podcast. Our podcast, because
I was just gonna say this felt like sitting in on one of your podcasts, and
we have so much fun recording them. Like every single time one comes out, we can't wait for it to come out because we just want everyone to see how much fun we had doing it.
It comes through for sure. It's one of those podcasts I when it's over, I have a smile on my face. So
thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, ladies, take care, and hopefully we'll see everybody else tomorrow.
Okay. Bye, you guys. Have a good day.
Bye.